With Trump back in office, major changes are on the horizon for rideshare drivers. Some are good and some are bad. From self-driving cars that could upend our industry to immigration policies that directly affect who we compete against, every decision he makes impacts our ability to earn. In this video, I'll break down 5 policies that could hit your paycheck positively or negatively and give each one a rating. My name is Tristan. This channel is for people who want to use rideshare as a stepping stone into something better. As a full-time rideshare driver averaging over $40 an hour, my goal today is to provide an honest look at Trump's stances on self-driving technology, healthcare, fuel prices, immigration, and deregulation, backed by some real facts, policies, and some of my own opinions. So smash that like button and subscribe, and let's dive into what these policies could mean for the future of rideshare. In 2019, Trump signed an executive order on artificial intelligence to make the United States a leader in AI and automation. These guidelines provided flexibility and signal to states that they should avoid imposing stringent regulations that could slow autonomous vehicle innovation. While these aren't specific exemptions for Uber or Lyft, these guidelines benefited rideshare companies by allowing them to conduct AV testing with fewer regulatory delays. This made it easier for companies like Waymo, Tesla, Uber, and Lyft to explore the future of driverless rides. That's how we got to where we are today. Though not all of these plans were passed in Congress, they show his interest in building an environment where self-driving tech could succeed. And now he has the House and the Senate, so it's more likely that what Trump wants is what Trump gets. His relationship with Elon Musk might even push the self-driving rollout faster. Trump has mentioned wanting Musk to help make government more efficient, which could lead to more support for Tesla and other tech companies focused on automation. For rideshare drivers, self-driving cars present a challenge. If companies like Uber and Lyft adopt self-driving cars quickly, drivers could lose jobs or their hours and income could drop. Some experts think drivers could shift into new roles, like managing fleets or self-driving cars, but that shift may not offer the same income or job security and could be very expensive to tap into. So what do you think? Would the rise of self-driving cars under Trump's policies be a win, loss, or tie for rideshare drivers? Take a second to think about it. For me, self-driving technology could reduce driving jobs and wages, making the future uncertain for drivers relying on rideshare income. I'm gonna rate this one a loss. While self-driving cars do present a more distant threat, other policies like healthcare and taxes will have a more immediate impact on drivers. That's what we're going to discuss next. Trump campaigned to ensure that tips earned by gig workers remain untaxed. For rideshare drivers, tips can make up a significant portion of income, especially during peak hours. Not having to pay taxes on tips means more take-home pay without additional deductions, which will help drivers keep more of what they earn, as long as Uber isn't stealing it from us, which they have in the past. We're going to look at other changes to taxes that have helped rideshare drivers thanks to Trump, but I want to talk about how we can make sure we're tracking our own taxes correctly in the first place. Because keeping track of how much you need to pay in taxes can get overly complicated. That's why I use my business rideshare tracker as a one-stop tool that takes the guesswork out of managing your rideshare income, expenses, and taxes. All you do is put in your odometer readings and earnings, and it'll automatically calculate your earnings per mile and per hour, track expenses, and even estimate your taxes. Plus, I made a video detailing how this tool saved me $8,000 in deductions, and if you stick around until the end of this video, you'll be able to watch it. But for now, let's get back to what tax changes we can expect from Trump as the president. The Tax Cuts and Jobs Act of 2017 introduced several key changes that benefited rideshare drivers. One of the most beneficial for independent contractors was the Qualified Business Income Deduction Section 199A. This allows drivers to deduct 20% of their earnings, reducing taxable income and helping them keep more of what they actually earn. Another important change was nearly doubling the standard deduction to $12,000 for single filers and $24,000 for married couples. For drivers without large business expenses to itemize, the higher standard deductions simplified tax filing ended up saving them money. The TCJA also expanded bonus depreciation and Section 179 expensing. This allowed drivers to deduct 100% of vehicle or equipment costs the year they purchased them rather than depreciating them over the years, which I think is an amazing tax benefit. But it's not just taxes that we have to consider. Healthcare access also has faced challenges when it comes to some of Trump's policies. Trump's administration repeatedly tried to repeal the Affordable Care Act, though they were only partially successful. This created uncertainty in healthcare coverage for gig workers struggling to find affordable options. During open enrollment each year, gig workers can shop for health insurance plans, seeking affordable monthly payments, low deductibles, and coverages that meet their needs. Some drivers like myself have found plans as low as $25 a month, which helped me manage my type 2 diabetes to the point where I don't even have it anymore. If Trump continues trying to get rid of the Affordable Care Act, it could be a big issue for drivers who need affordable healthcare. So what do you think? Is this a win, loss, or tie? Here's my take. While tax cuts help drivers keep more of their income, the limits on affordable healthcare might leave drivers struggling for coverage. I'm going to call this one a tie. While taxes and healthcare should be a big concern for Uber and Lyft drivers, our biggest expense should be one of our biggest concerns. That's what we're going to focus on next. During Trump's time in office, gas prices stayed fairly low, which was great news for drivers. In 2019, which was before the pandemic, the national average was about $2.60 per gallon, which helped keep costs down and increased earnings for drivers. Trump's focus on U.S. energy independence played a role of supporting domestic oil production through pipelines and fracking. For example, Trump approved the Keystone XL pipeline to reduce reliance on foreign oil. This helped maintain lower gas prices, making it cheaper for drivers to operate and keep more earnings. Trump also focused on building relationships with foreign oil producers like Russia and OPEC to help control global oil prices. By 2024, fuel prices have risen due to events like the Russia-Ukraine conflict, which Trump believes he can solve, and I'm rooting for him. If he is able to solve that, we can see gas prices further decline. Trump believes his energy policies could stabilize fuel prices by boosting US oil production, reducing fuel costs, and making earnings more predictable. So what's your take on this? Is it a win, loss, or tie for our bottom line? Here's how I see it. With fuel being one of the most significant expenses, a Trump presidency will be a win for gas prices. But even with low gas prices, there's still another major concern. Illegal immigration has created a competitive and sometimes unfair market for rideshare drivers. Some undocumented workers gain access to rideshare platforms by using fake accounts or stolen identities. One of the most well-known examples is Priscilla, the queen of the rideshare mafia, who ran a scheme to sell fake Uber and Lyft accounts to illegal immigrants. She profited hundreds of thousands of dollars by selling fake accounts and by taking a percentage of what they earned. This allowed undocumented individuals to work on these platforms without going through the official vetting process. These undocumented drivers, often willing to accept lower wages, make it harder for legal drivers to earn fair pay. When undocumented workers take lower fares, it creates a race to the bottom where companies set lower rates because they know some drivers will accept them. This hurts legal drivers who need higher fares to make a livable wage. Many people even receive tax forms known as 1099s for earnings that they never made. This happens because undocumented drivers use fake or stolen identities, leaving real identity owners with tax problems. Legal drivers face increased competition and potential tax issues due to these fraudulent practices, adding another challenge that rideshare drivers have to face. With immigration policies affecting competition, do you think Trump will benefit drivers? For me, I'm gonna have to call this a win. By enforcing stricter immigration laws and requiring platforms like Uber and Lyft to verify workers' legal status, Trump aims to reduce competition for undocumented workers. Trump's approach supports American drivers by ensuring that only those legally eligible to work are on the rideshare platforms, creating a more level playing field. So far, we have 2 wins, 1 loss, and 1 tie. Now it's time to talk about deregulation as the tiebreaker. Trump's stance on deregulation, which is the reducing of government rules and oversight, has been a significant focus during his campaign. For companies like Uber and Lyft, fewer regulations mean fewer barriers to operating and expanding into new markets. However, deregulation also has potential drawbacks for rideshare drivers. With fewer rules, companies may gain more control over pay rates, working hours, and benefits without strict protections for workers. This could result in drivers having less power to negotiate fair wages or maintain job security. On the other side, Kamala Harris proposed regulations that could classify gig workers as employees, giving drivers the right to unionize, receive health benefits, and access other worker protection. And while increased regulation could protect drivers, it could also limit flexibility, which many gig workers value for setting their hours and maintaining independence. While I understand that some drivers are okay with more government interference into rideshare, the debate continues over whether more regulation or less regulation better supports drivers' financial security. We can look at places like New York that are currently experiencing lockouts because of how involved the government has been into the Uber and Lyft process over there. When it comes to deregulation, where do you stand on this? It's pretty complicated. Is it a win, a loss, or a tie for us as drivers? Here's my perspective. Deregulation can result in significant losses for drivers, especially given Uber and Lyft's ability to lower driver pay with minimal oversight. With fewer regulations, these companies can adjust fares, fees, and commissions, often reducing driver earnings per ride. Deregulation reduces transparency, allowing Uber and Lyft to implement upfront pricing or increase their commission share without driver input. This has historically resulted in lower pay for drivers. The lack of regulatory protection also enables these companies to cut bonuses or incentives, focusing on their bottom line rather than driver income. So is this Trump presidency an overall win for rideshare drivers? Only time will tell. In the meantime, watch this video to learn how my rideshare business tracker saved me $8,000 in deductions, and consider becoming a channel supporter. Thank you.